graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Good evening. I'm Erica Lost. NATO forces bombed Serbia and Kosovo. An unidentified man is being held for questioning by the FBI for suspected links to last month's biological virus test. In local news, a dog named Hero takes the grand prize at the annual... I wish I could tell you more pertinent news. But we're in a rating system here, and the key factor is... sensationalism. They've got you running in circles, 9 to 5, then 5 to 9. You're mine. I tell you what they want you to know, and you consider it the truth. Nobody is opening their eyes. Our global economy is depleting the world of our lives and natural resources. And are you happy? Come on! I work for the system.
Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat.
Yes, we're fast.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And
Take two.
As soon as we started recording, the phone rings at Paul's house, because who still has like a landline phone, but like our parents and stuff like that. But coming to Paul's house today, totally fucking,
Chris is getting scared.
I had no idea. I mean, okay, I knew you lived in the fucking country. And like a couple episodes back, we were driving behind that truck that had the Trump stuff all over it. But we made a diversion, and we went down another road today and went to the 7-Eleven. And holy shit. All right, so it was just about noon when we went to the 7-Eleven. So, I mean, I expect, obviously around noon, you got a bit of a rush at a 7-Eleven. There was a fucking line from the counter to the door when we got there. So that's one thing. And and that's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? A 7-Eleven being rushed at noon, okay. But, okay, let's talk about the characters that were in this fucking 7-Eleven. Right when I left, there was a guy coming in wearing overalls. Like the good old-fashioned denim overalls, like a good old... There was that big old girl with the cowboy boots. I don't know, she was trying to get her kid like a fucking Slurpee that. And then and not that it's like a redneck thing, but it's like a douchey kind of thing. It is a
redneck thing.
Right where we parked, there were two like douchey guys, early 20s. One of the guys had like ironic sunglasses, like the cheesy style sunglasses. They were vaping outside of a fucking Camaro. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you can't get any more fucking, white trash than that. So, what the fuck, Paul? What's going on? Why do you... I don't know. I can't...
I told you, like, where my parents live, it's the country. And I really do like the country, but, for people that have lived in the city all their life, Chris, you're not used to this shit, so...
Well, I mean, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I was just south of Philly for a little while, and I remember one time I got lost, and I pulled up to a station or whatever, and I'm like, and this is like before like map, like, I mean, I guess though, 99, so they just about had MapQuest, but I was lost, so I was like, I'm not from around here, and they got Alcatel. I was like, oh fuck, that's it, I'm done.
Yep.
But here we are.
It's not that bad here.
Yeah. Here we are celebrating pretty much not celebrating, but the summer's coming to an end. Yeah. It's weird because the summer always goes by so fast. I mean, not that it really made a big deal for me because I'm saying shit like that.
Summer started out was good for me, and then now it's just like, let's just have this be over with, and hopefully things go back to the way it needs to be back.
Gotcha. But you don't want to do you want to get into that or no?
I mean, obviously, there's a reason I'm at my parents' house.
I mean, not that, just... And I'm surprised there's no Oscar letter this week, but maybe he can respond about that.
I mean, I don't want to go too far into it, but I mean, I kind of got kicked out.
Yeah.
I feel like we're still together, but I don't know how she would put it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Much working on getting back together, but it's, you come home from a long day of work and all of a sudden you get hit with something and you're just like, okay, this is wonderful.
Pack your...
Well, it wasn't
it wasn't like pack your shit.
No, thankfully. But,
and it's like, but I mean, a lot of your stuff is still there. Your fucking boxes and boxes of anime DVDs are still there. But
so I mean, it's if it, I don't think it's a permanent just.
And it's weird, like being like when you're like a guy, like I'm saying, like being a friend of someone in this situation, like obviously I got your back, or but it's like I don't want to bad talk anybody because like what if you guys get back together, because as a friend you want to be supportive and be like, oh, screw that and screw her and all, and then like you talk all that shit and then like, oh yeah, we're back together. Oh Chris, remember when we were? Remember you said fuck her and all that. All right, so so in a situation like this, I'll reserve my opinions.
Well, I've had a lot of people that have supported, including yourself, so it's not like I've been going through this kind of by myself. I've been, a lot of people have basically been like, just been there to support, and obviously my parents are. I think my father's just like, oh yeah, you stay whenever as long as you want. That's the way I feel like sometimes, because he's just like, and my mother's just like, my mother loves me, but she's like, you can just, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, and it's like, coming from, like me being a guy, like, been through a divorce, baby mama drama, I've been single for a while, like, part of me is like, yeah, man, just be on your own, man.
Well, so I'll be a little bit more honest about this, I guess. So I guess the best lesson that you can take out of what's happening to me is you never know making mistakes until something like this happens. Mm-hmm. Also, sometimes the other person in the situation doesn't realize they're such a loving individual that it's like, for them to sit there and say, well, didn't you see the signs? No, not really. Yeah, I mean, let me put it to you this way, like, Kelsey is one of the most loving people that I've ever met. She's very, and I'm not saying this just to suck up or anything, I'm being serious. Mm-hmm. Like, it's always, I love you, it's always, I miss you, it's always, how was your day? It wasn't really anything that just was, like, in my face. Now, I knew I had some issues. For example, the other day I just went to the doctor's, and I don't want to I'm probably not going to do it today, but I have to go get lab work done. And, as much as I don't want to admit how much I weigh right now, I weigh 188 pounds. Boy. So I gotta go get a gym membership, take care of that, because I think that's the heaviest I've ever been, and I'm not gonna go over 300.
And I'm the enabling asshole. Where like for the podcast, I'm like, let's go.
Oh, look at the pizzas over there. Yeah, there we go, buddy. Yeah.
Like before, like, well, I mean, it was sort of like we're getting like first we were just getting like snacks or whatever, and then the girl's like, "There's 2 pizzas for $8." I'm like, "Fuck it, let's get it. Let's be fat bastards."
So what the problem is like I have this. I've been getting very like tired during the day, so like all of a sudden I'll just like be very tired and fall asleep. Yeah. So I haven't been really getting that good of sleep. So I went for a referral yesterday to get
sleep study
done, and I'm just sitting there. So you get the referral, then you actually have to go see the doctor, and then you get your appointment. It's just like, and that's not even until November, Chris. And I'm just like, you fucking kidding me? Like,
yeah, I mean, I've been through that. Like before I had my surgery, like I had to go for the sleep apnea.
So I have like, I'm nowhere near how many appointments my stepdaughter had. Like I feel like I'm getting to that stage now because like I have one appointment a month for things. Mm-hmm. One appointment for my. You can see how my skin is. I used to use this cream called Ellendale. Mm-hmm. I lost insurance for a while, so I didn't get any more. Now that I have insurance again, which I've had, I'm gonna go get it again because it's starting to get like all over the way that you know what it is it gets on your chest too. So I need to get it because it's like here, and it's not so much here; it's more here. Mm-hmm. This will go and then dry up, and the skin will fall off. I'm good. This, it's still there, and I'm just like, all right, well, take care of that. But the point I was trying to make is I knew there was an issue with my sleep, snoring, whatever it was, and I wasn't doing as much, and I knew that was an issue. And the only thing that I had set up was a physical. But once this happened, I was like, you guys need to get me in and fucking do this right now. I'm not going to lose this girl over fucking something this stupid. Mm-hmm. And they finally were like, okay, well, we have an appointment on the 27th. I was like, fuck, let's do this. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm working on myself to make myself better. I think she's working on herself in a different manner. Because, you have to understand, like, I think sometimes she thinks that she's not, like, she can't do things herself. Mm-hmm. The problem is like, you see how expensive shit is. Mm-hmm. You can't do things by yourself. No, you can't even go to college these days without. Yeah. It's honestly, like, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent. It's not even worth going to college. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if honestly, they sit there and they say, well, we're going to get rid of your loans. Trump's never mind. I mean, when Obama was around, he's like, oh, yeah, we should be getting rid of your loans. And I'm sitting there going, well, what about the private loans? Yeah. Like, I was looking up on, Citizens Bank is offering stuff. Mm. And it would be a higher interest rate. It would be like $30 less than I'm paying a month, but it would be a higher interest rate. And I'm like, why would I want to do that to myself? And I'm like, if it gets to a point, because I don't know if you don't have any student loans, but for those of you that do have student loans, I'm sure you've been noticing that if you don't have a fixed rate, it's been going up. Yeah. Like every single month, like almost every month or 2 months, I've had an interest rate increase. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's to the point where I might have to take that offer from Citizens. Yeah. Because even if I fixed it at like 6%, it's still a lower payment. I'm not worried. I got more money in my pocket to do stuff. And then I kind of wish that these politicians would wake up and be like, okay, we see that college debt is the most important. This is the problem. Let's relieve some of this debt, whether it be private or public, and get because I think that would be part of the problem. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I want to really say about what's going on with me. I mean, I don't think I've said anything bad. It's just,
Yeah, it's just that's why
we're working on issues, basically. And once those issues have been resolved, hopefully back together, I don't see that not happen. And I'm not saying that because I'm confident. I'm just, we still love each other. We still miss each other. It's not like, I mean, I could be wrong. After this podcast, I could find, something else happens. I don't know. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, I don't see this as a permanent solution. I see this as a temporary solution.
Communication is the key, and as long as you guys are communicating, hopefully in the future, with this troubled water right now, you're like, okay, now the next time if there's a couple of ripples, you go, okay, well, let's fucking address this right now. Let's sit and talk about it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, for me, I would rather let's go handle this issue. Let's do what we got to do. Mm-hmm. Or if it gets to a point where it comes to that, let's go for couple counseling and take it, because I would rather. I don't want to be by myself. Mm-hmm. I mean, even though my parents are here, that's still me being by myself. I'm not with somebody, and it hurts because you try to live without that person and you can't sleep properly. So now, even on top of that, now I'm not sleeping even, and it's just like, what do you do? What do you think that you're doing everything right? And it's just a stressful situation. So that's kind of what I've been going through these last couple weeks. So, I've been on and off the grid and trying to just deal with it, and I just hope that this will all come back together, and everything will be fine.
And I guess with all the craziness going on, you've kind of bowed out of Comic-Con.
Well, I mean, I was thinking of going to Comic-Con this year, but then, I just have way too many bills, and I have to, like, next year by April, I'll have a lot more stuff. I would go to another con. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to. The problem is I went to so many cons before with Toonami that it kind of, that debt built up on me. And then there was, you know, obviously paying for cars and repairs and everything that came. So, I mean, I'm getting paid better at my job, and that does help, but it's, you know, unless I'm a doctor, I can't pay a bill in 1 month, you know what I mean? So it sucks. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And like, speaking of work, and it's funny that we're recording today, and it was sort of like we had planned to record, so that's why. So long story short, like, I should be changing jobs soon. I should be getting paid a hell of a lot more. Yeah, I mean, knock on wood or whatever, knock on whatever the hell it is. You know, that I might be getting a better job soon, and even if that doesn't follow through, I mean, there's still, you know, where the company that I'm gonna be working for is looking to expand, so, you know, there's that going on, because my boss, who, you know, it's a long story, but he's also a high school friend I've known since 91. You know, I've been going, and he's been giving me training online and stuff like that on how to get the job done and stuff like that. And with that being said, like, I could have been working today. I gave up making money today so we could record the podcast. But I mean, you know, I'm not saying, you know, and it was sort of one of those deals where, like, he kind of asked me at the last minute, and I was like, fucking plans tomorrow. But I mean, you know, it's nice to know that he's already has, you know, and it's sort of like he's ready to kind of, like, at least maybe work part-time. So I could supplement mine from the fucking bullshit that I'm at right now. And so, you know, hopefully around the corner, you know, I'll have internet, you know, at my house, and you know, having a car, and, you know, getting back to a normal life.
Normal life. I would like to have that back. Yes, please.
So 2 Saturdays ago, I took the test to become, and I took the test years ago. A 911 operator. There's like 911 dispatcher and 911 telecommunicator. So one is like, you're the 911 operator when someone calls 911. Right. And then the other one was dispatcher, where you're the one seeing police cars and stuff like that. I actually
just hired a guy. Mm-hmm. This is how shitty the city is. Mm-hmm. He took everything, did everything they were supposed to. They're not even going to start hiring people until October. Like, so if you took the 911 stuff and you got all that stuff taken care of, they're not even going to look at that until October.
Yeah.
And it's really stupid, because it's like, so why are you waiting that long? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand that people, like, I understand that maybe, like, you're waiting for people to leave or something, maybe that's what it is, but at the same time, it's like, people need jobs, so...
Well, I mean, because I, like, you know, being a correctional officer for 10, like, and, you know, before I was a correctional officer, I was like a school safety officer. You know, there was a correction, but the one I worked down in Pennsylvania was a privatized prison. But, you know, I've taken civil service tests forever, and that's always the case. They always fucking drag their feet. I've been on waiting lists, and, like, even when I was a correction officer, like, you know, I was on other waiting lists, you know, for other jobs at the time, and at the time, and I was like, you know, for what I'm doing, I might as well just stay in corrections, you know, because there were other jobs that was, you know, a little bit more demanding, and they paid a little bit more, but I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll stay in corrections at the time.
Right.
And so, yeah, like, having people wait is, that's why, like, when I took the original test, I took the test, like, when I first came to Chester, and I thought it worked like this, because, like, in New York City or the state, you know, they'll hold your name on the test for years, until, you know, like, if it comes up. But, like, I guess here in Rochester, after a year, the list goes away, and you have to take the test. And oh my god, it was so fucking hard. It's like the first part of the test is, they sit you in front of the actual, like, computer, like, because you walk into, you know, it's the test is given at the building where all the 911 operators were, and, like, they put you in front of the actual computers, but they have a program on the computer, and it's a test, and, like, you use the headphones, and it's all just it's all just recorded
BS.
Yeah, it's like it's someone talking to you, but you're not talking to a live person. It's like if you're on the other end of the phone and, like, the person refused to answer you, but, you know, so it's like, hi, this is Joe Smith, and I'm on 123 Main Street, and this guy, I saw two guys breaking into a house, and you better send some cars here quick, or whatever. And then, like, while you're listening to that, you have to fill out all the stuff on the computer. And then, like, if the guy doesn't give you information about certain things, you have to put an X on the line. And then when all is said and done, you have, like, 30 seconds after that, and then it jumps to the next call. And then the screen itself jumps to the next call. And you're like, and you try to type, and, it's stressful. And then the other one, it's the same kind of deal, where that one it's more like it's telling you a scenario and you have to like dispatch cars. There's someone breaking into a house on Main Street. Which cars are available, and you have to dispatch. You have a little piece of paper, and like you're supposed to keep track of what cars you dispatched over there. And it's like then like later on as another scenario goes on, it's like the cars you dispatched to this job have returned are back online, or back on duty, or whatever. And so I took the test. I don't think I did that well on it.
Well, what'd they tell you, or?
No, I think you get your results in the mail later on, but like it was, and it's because also there was the thing about that second part when you have like a map in front of you. They kind of also there is like a written part where it says write what happened in this scenario. And let me tell you that I fucking aced. Like if they went by that, it's just getting it into the computer with a time ticking, it's stressful, and I'm pretty computer savvy, but it's sort of like, your hands don't want to work and shit like, and so,
no, I understand that completely. Yeah, I know, like, so there was when I first worked at my job that I currently have now, there was a girl that she was dead set on like, oh, I'm gonna be a 911 operator, and she got the job, but it was like. Sitting there going like, I don't want that job. Like, I don't want to, especially like in this climate. If you mess something up, like you're going to be the one.
You're recorded. Everything's
not only are you recorded, but then you're going to get brought up on charges. You're in trouble, and it's just like, I don't want that. Like, what happens if I make a mistake? Like there was I'm trying to think of the kid's name. It was in Ohio. There was a kid. Do you remember this? Like there was a kid walking around in the park, and he had a toy gun, but he was pointing it at people. And somebody called it in. The dispatcher didn't tell the officers that this kid had a toy gun because the guy that called in said, there's this kid walking around, he's pointing a gun at people randomly. Now, I think it's a toy gun because, it looks like it could be a toy gun, so you guys may just want to be whatever. Dispatcher never said it was a toy gun. Said that you need to proceed with caution. The officers rolled up. As he rolled up, the kid points the gun at them, and then obviously, you know what the officers are going to do. It was one of those cases where, I kind of sat back and went, I'm a white man, so as a white person, you're not going to be, I guess, believed, or your opinion doesn't matter. But for me, it was like, why are we going after these two police officers when they were rolling up on the scene doing their job? Why are we not going after the dispatcher that fucked up? Now, I'm sure that person got fired, and they may have brought that person up on charges, and we just never heard about it out here in Rochester. But it just tells me like that's the kind of thing where I'm just like, I don't want that kind of responsibility. I just don't want. I don't want to fuck something up, and then somebody's life gets hurt because of me. You know what I mean? It sucks. So. It is what it is, but hey, at least you got that other job.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't get me wrong. I still plan on taking civil service tests. Civil service for 10, 11 years of my life, and so I wouldn't mind going back. But like right now, like I have a pension right now. Like I'll have at like 55 or whatever, I'll have money coming. Not a lot, but like even $200 a month or something like that. It's some sort of income. Because for like the first 7 years of my career. They took money out of my paycheck, and then, I started at 22. So at 29, I stopped paying into the system. But from 29 to 55, for like those 25 years, my money's sitting with the state. Just accruing. And no, I still owe a loan. I took a loan, but when I went to my divorce, I was trying to I refinanced my house and all this shit. And then my divorce happened, and so it's sort of like, so I never got a chance to pay back that loan, so I owe the state money. But even if I don't fucking give them a dime, I'm still going to get something back. I'll get the full amount back if I I got to pay my loan off though.
Yeah, you better do that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you did. I'll be honest with you. Like, you did the right thing when your taxes came in. You paid off that one bill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like right now, like I'm so used to living check to pay. Like I'm so used to living like this week, am I going to eat? Am I going to pay my rent? So like when the time comes, like I'm actually making decent money, I could actually maybe start banking it where not keep living cheaply, and then just put money towards that debt and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm working. My credit score did go up a little bit because that thing. Now mind you, I paid it off like months ago. Like it just came off my credit.
Yeah, it takes.
It took a while, but like and then the funny thing is, even the company that fucking handled it for me, the company that was handling the debt, they called me like 2 months later, like, "Oh, you have this debt from AT&T." I'm like, "No, motherfucker, I paid it off. Check your fucking records." But sort of,
So I mean, you could technically go get a car loan now.
Well, I still owe. I have like 2 other companies, but those are small ones. Like
yeah, but if I remember correctly, like the AT&T thing was kind of like your biggest problem.
Yeah, the AT. That's why like I tackled that, and hopefully this year coming up, knock on wood, I'll tackle the other 2 and fucking be clear. And then once I'm start working with my friend, I might have enough money where I could just get a car. Like don't even worry about a fucking loan.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's probably, if you definitely, like, especially if you want to get your credit up, it's probably better just to get, like, a cheap car where you're paying, like, between $100 and $150 a month and just do it that way because that's credit in your favor, you know what I mean? So...
I'm just kind of handling that shit right now. Let me see, what else do I have in my notes? We're coming towards the end of end of the summer. Kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those things like on Facebook where I forget that living in New York we're different than so many other states. Kids are back to school now.
Yeah, a lot of southern states will have put their kids to school sooner than us. Mm-hmm. It's usually either the second to last or last week of August they go back. Mm-hmm. Now, see. The benefit of doing that is they're out in May. Yeah. So I mean, give or take. I mean, we start in the beginning of September, and then they're out in June. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the payoff. But it's maybe because I lived in New York my whole life. Like to go back to school before Labor Day, like what the fuck, man? You're killing me here.
Yeah.
It was always like right after Labor Day, and and like with my daughter, she'll be going back to school.
Well, think about it this way, like. You have these kids going back to school, and then now you have a 4-day weekend. That just feels a little stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's like my kid's gonna be going back to school too. I have to yell at his school. So let me tell you a little story about this. This is actually let me bitch about this for a minute. Mm-hmm. So my kid didn't do well this year in school. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna talk about his grades or anything. This school is the worst communication I've ever had in a school. Mm-hmm. Like, he's gone to a couple different schools here in Rochester. He's gone to the city school district. And the city school district was better than these fucks in Geneva. And I'm literally sitting here, like, asking them to send me homework. And the guy's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm emailing it to you every single week." Never got one piece of homework. Mm-hmm. I finally got a hold of the person that was in charge of the special education department. We talked over the phone. She said she would call me back. She didn't call me back. She sent me a letter, and I'm just like, no, this is not what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So now and then I get a letter that says, "Oh, your son's out of summer. Your son, something about he's not enrolled in summer school anymore." And I said, "What are you talking about? My kid doesn't go to summer school." So, what happened to... Where's all this bullshit coming from? Mm-hmm. So, I'm waiting to see like if they try to hold my kid back, is where I'm at. Because if they do, they're going to catch all holy hell from me. Mm-hmm. And my father was a principal. Mm-hmm. And he has and he did a lot of stuff with that county. Mm-hmm. So, if they decide to fuck with me the wrong way, they're about to get like... rain down of hell on them. So it's going to be an interesting school year when it comes to my son because I'm sick and tired of like, just, oh, it's fine. When he gets to high school, there's going to be so many more services. What about now?
Yeah.
Like, my son, like, literally, throughout his whole school experience, he's always had a teacher with him to help him stay on task and help him do what he needs to do. They're not doing that. And I'm like, I'm telling you what he needs, and you're not providing it for me. And, like, it's to the point where I'm going to be like, listen, if you don't provide one for my kid, then I'm going to call the state of New York State of Education to come in here, and then they're going to make you do it. Mm-hmm. So either you just do it, or you're just going to get in a bunch of trouble and do it anyways. Mm-hmm. So which one do you want? And my kid's not stupid. It's just he's, he has a hard time focusing. Mm-hmm. When he focuses, he does well. Mm-hmm. When he doesn't focus, he does terrible. And this was a year that it kind of whatever. And I'll admit, like, this year got kind of away with me. This last school year, I kind of wasn't. I should have been paying attention a little bit more, mm-hmm. which is another problem. This year, no. Like today or this week, I'm gonna email that special ed person and be like, look, he needs to be, every time that there's homework due, if it's not done, it needs to come to me, and you need to email it to me, or somebody needs to email it to me. Mm-hmm. Okay, if that is not done, we're gonna have a conversation, and you're not gonna like my conversation. Because I'm getting sick, like, again, as a parent, you get sick and tired of these people fucking with your kid. Like, so my kid's going to suffer until he gets to high school because, we don't have any services, the proper services here. Mm-hmm. Come on. Yeah. Really? Gotcha. Really? And they're going to do another test on my kid, and it's going to do exactly what I said. It's going to be, he needs to have somebody with him. Mm-hmm. Duh! Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm the parent. I know what my son needs. I'm not stupid. Mm-hmm. Can we just do this? And can you actually listen to me for once? Yeah. It's really I've never really talked about that, but that's another thing that's going to be going on too this year. And then I'm going to have to be the fucking asshole to sit there and literally like light their asses on fire. Mm-hmm. Because, here's another example. I called the principal, and the principal just sends me to the guy that's in charge of whatever. I'm like, no, I want to talk to you. Like, I don't want to talk to this asshole. I want to talk to you. So, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. Let's put it that way. And I'm not looking forward to how this year's going to end. I mean, I got a lot of doctor's appointments. I got to take care of this with my kid. Hopefully everything will come back together with my girl, and I hope that'll definitely happen. I'm going to work my ass off to make sure that happens. So it's not going to be my problem if it doesn't, but,
Gotcha.
We'll see.
And I think with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc., 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinemapsyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this little nerd glee with everything that kept
little history doll popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was.
How did you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinemapsyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-n-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. All right, so enough with the real reality. Let's get to some escapism. Let's get to the nerdy news. Let's see. Last episode we spoke about James Gunn being let go. Well, apparently Disney's script.
Okay.
Because like Dave Bautista. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Dave Bautista, but they could have gotten rid of him in this heartbeat. But
no, what happened was all those other actors and actresses came forward and said, no, fuck you. Even what's his name? Was it Chris Evans? Yeah. Chris Evans is the one that's really religious, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because even he came forward and was like, no, this isn't wrong. I don't really condone what he said, but there again, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like, and like in I think Chris Evans' angle is, it's about forgiveness and growing up, and it's like he grew up a lot in the past 10 years. He's not that person he was anymore.
Right.
And I think it would be like, I mean, I don't know what I think the script was already written before the controversy, but like, If they did a storyline, like a storyline about like redemption and the joke would, and the funny thing is, like right now, like the Star-Lord character, people are mad at Star-Lord from Infinity War. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Infinity War, but like, it's Star-Lord, like, they just about have almost captured Thanos, and they're about to pull the fucking Infinity Glove off his hand. Star-Lord does something stupid and fucks it all up. So like, if they did something where it kind of redeems Star-Lord in a way, like he did. I made a mistake. Please forgive me. Well, it would sort of be like a weird meta script where, like, oh, he was a jerk back in the beginning of the movies. He was a jerk. He was, he had the purple girl in the spaceship, and he forgot that she was even there. And he was raised by all these fucking Ravager pirate guys and shit. Like, sort of like, I'm a good guy now. I really am a hero. It's my redemption story.
I mean, and then there's the, if you've seen, there's a video out there, it's the animations, but where they show like 5 different ways to stop Thanos.
Oh, yeah. And
one of the things is Iron Man kills Star-Lord before he does that.
Oh, yeah, shoots him, in the head.
The one that's really funny about that is, Thanos snaps his fingers and he kills John Wick's dog. And I was like, really, guys?
Yeah. And you see the dog like fading or whatever. Yeah, that's. But yeah, so it would.
That one was hilarious.
It would be really interesting if they kind of made the script a meta story about like James Gunn and so. Okay. Let me see where. Oh, so my daughter's birthday was this. She got herself well the week before her birthday. She wanted to go Slenderman. What a god awful movie that was. She my daughter, she's at that age where, she's on YouTube, like, the YouTuber community and that whole shit. And Slenderman, 8 years ago was like a big thing online, and it's kind of past its time. This movie was made way too late. But she likes Slenderman. She not that she believes in it, but it's sort of like, to her, that's her urban legend. Slenderman is her Freddy Krueger. To watch.
Right.
So she wanted to see it, and then, first I'm like, oh, it's a horror movie, but it's PG-13.
Yeah.
And don't be wrong, like.
Well, okay. Let me back that up a little bit. PG-13 is the new rated R these days with most of these horror films, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to literally kick it into high gear to get a rated R for some of these horror films.
I mean, it's sort of like, she's seen like murder, like blood and shit like that, because like she's watched like John Carpenter's The Thing. You know what I'm saying? Blood and stuff like that does freak her out. Because she watches all these like YouTube. Speaking of watching YouTube, she being a girl, whatever, she was watching these makeup tutorials. Then the makeup tutorials kind of transformed to like the special effects makeup tutorials, like as opposed to just being pretty. Like here's I make myself look a zombie, or look, I have a glass bottle coming out of my head and it's bleeding. So she likes like horror and blood and gore, and she of course she knows it's fake. And said, "Oh, Daddy, I want to go see Slenderman." And I said, I didn't even know the fucking movie was. I didn't even know it existed. And I popped on my phone and I said, "Oh, it's Slenderman." And I said, "Oh shit," at first I'm thinking, "Oh fuck, it's an R-rated movie." It's like, it's PG-13, and I'm like, "All right, fuck it," And we went to the theater, and we saw it. We didn't sit in your chain, and it's Paul flips.
That's what you get, you motherfucker.
Well, because I don't. Was your theater even giving it, or
giving it? Yes, we were giving it out to people.
Well, I'm saying, did you even have it in your theater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think from where we were like a bus, and it was one of those things where she meant it. I looked it up, and it was like, oh, if we hop on the bus right now, we can get to the like the set or whatever. So I went to go see Slenderman. And it was in one of those theaters that had the reclining seats, and it was sort of this whole thing. Like, since the movie was boring, and I'm sitting in this fucking reclining seat, like she had to like keep like tapping me on the shoulder, like tapping my arm to wake me up. And there was one of those you could lift the armrest, so she was like leaning, stuff like that. She enjoyed it. She said it was scary, but I guess it's one of those things like you got to do it for your kid. So we went to go see Slenderman. Her birthday came, and then my dad got her a hoverboard, and but she's her neighbor's friend, her mom's neighbor, and a friend of hers has one, so she's had plenty of practice on the. This is fucking nice. This thing's built like a fucking tank. It's pretty strong, and so we went, and like her mom lives like 2.5 miles from my house, so I picked her up at her mom's house, and I'm like, all right, let's just see how far this will go. And we damn near made it in house. We were like 5 blocks away. That being said, she was also like, dancing with it and playing with it and going around. Had we gone straight without stopping or playing or anything like that, we probably would have made it to house, like 2.5 miles. And just to get all the features out of the way, I also had the Bluetooth going. There's a fucking Bluetooth speaker built in this thing, and. So it's funny, like when when we're going through the areas, and it's a nice summer day, and people are outside, and like she's playing like I was playing through my phone like Michael Jackson music, and she likes Michael Jackson. So that was let's see, all right, something that just came in my feed. I saw it like 2-3 days ago, but I also saw it today. The show Big Bang Theory is coming to an end.
Yeah, I saw that.
And all these people, like I know people didn't like Big Bang. But it's like, fucking people hated that show. Like, so many people are like, "Oh, I'm so happy it's over." And it's funny because I'm usually the guy that hates things. I'm usually the guy that I fucking hate this, I hate that. And see all these people like really getting all excited, and I'm like, it was a stupid show. Yeah, I'll admit it's a stupid show, but it's like, how could you have so much hate for such a stupid show that like it didn't it's not bothering you or anything like. And I'm like, oh, it depicts nerds in a poor light and stuff like that, like And I'm like,
it's the same thing with Tsunami.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's gonna die. And I'm like, it's not dead. Mm-hmm. It's got some of the best shows on it right now. There's every single community, whether it be Big Bang Theory, Star Wars, Sex and the City. I mean, there's Sex and the City.
Yeah.
I might be going way out there by saying Sex and the City, but Toonami, Star Trek, whatever. There's always going to be people in that community that either want something to die or it's not good enough for them, so they want it to die. You know, stuff like that. It's really stupid. So at the end of the day, you're kind of just sitting there going... But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, it's just, you know, I can't believe that people are like, oh, so glad it's over. And they're like, yeah, what about like when the big thing years ago, like fake geek girls. It goes like, oh, I read comic books, and you know, like they put on like glasses that they don't even have a prescription for. You know, oh, I play games, you know, stuff like they swore up and down.
Yeah, but see now, like you're seeing some of the hottest girls that I've ever seen, like being cosplay girls. You make some good fucking money on that shit.
Well,
too.
yeah, but that's a different thing. And the whole thing is that like.
But you gotta understand that kind of spun off of that. Yes, cosplay has always been there. But once girls that were pretending to be nerdy started doing it, that were really hot, some of them discovered that actually make a fucking living off of being a cosplayer. And they actually, you know, it kind of goes both ways, you know what I mean? So that kind of didn't really hurt anything. It just kind of spun something off that a lot of ladies are actually getting to. Because let's face it, there are girls out there that are closet nerds that don't say something, and they're some of the hottest bitches you've ever seen in your whole fucking life. But, you know, the nerd community has become accepted. Yeah. So, you know, you can be a nerd and do whatever the fuck you want now.
Well, I just find it like when a girl's like, I'm such a nerd, I love Game of Thrones. It's like, yeah, Game of Thrones is like one of the best shows ever made. You know, I haven't watched Game of Thrones in fucking 5 years or whatever. But, I mean, you know, it's like, oh, I watch Game of Thrones, I'm such a nerd. And I'm like, Game of Thrones is a good show. It has nothing to do with being a nerd, you know.
It's like, oh, so Game of Thrones, okay, so how much money do you want? Like, seriously, like, it's like, you sit there and you see some of these girls and you're just like, listen, I am not going to pay to see you naked. Stop trying to fucking make it out like that. Because it just seems like a lot of the internet today is just like, oh, I'm going to do this to attract you. And then when you actually start messaging somebody, it's some fucking cam girl that wants you to whatever. I've seen that happen to a couple people, and I'm just like, it's just ridiculous at this point. Yeah. Thank God Craigslist and everything is gone. Because that just made things worse. Oh, yeah, Craigslist killer. That I don't even think that was from the personals. That was somebody was selling something. He went to go buy it, and then in the parking lot he stabbed somebody. I think it was, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's a crazy world, man. But yeah, I mean, Big Bang Theory leaving. I mean, that's.
But it's just so weird to see the hate that it's getting, and that's the funny thing is this comes from me because I usually when I hate something I fuck it, but it's like they were like, oh, it's offensive to nerds. It wasn't like they were trying. It's like, oh, let's make fun of nerds and stuff. They were just like, here's these weird fucking characters who happen to be nerds, and you know, it's so weird to see. Like, it's so weird being on the opposite side of the fence for once. Like, why are people hating it so fucking much? You know, and so
people just people. It's almost like it's accepted to hate on something, and it's to the point where a lot of us, you know. We try to, like, with example for Toonami, we try to kind of ignore all of that stuff because at the end of the day, it kind of makes it not fun anymore. Yeah. So I try. That's why I don't go on Twitter as much. I'll keep an eye on it. It'll be more. I'll keep an eye on like the bigger accounts, but like even my personal account, I'm not on there as much because there's too much hate. Facebook in some ways is even worse. Yeah. Like. You know, and it's just, you know, learn to like what you have, like, because tomorrow it could just be gone.
Yeah, so I mean, it is weird, that we live like in a golden age of stuff, you know, and it's, you know.
But the funny part to me is like, Big Bang Theory is one of those shows that came out before the Netflix. I mean, Netflix was kind of starting around then. But before all these streaming services. And the point that I'm trying to make to that is a show like Big Bang Theory was able to be as big because, you know, they were able to have the platform for millions of people to watch them. Now, think about how many series are out there that were on Netflix, that were on Hulu, Amazon Prime. The point I'm trying to make is they don't get that much. They don't get that much of a viewing audience because not everybody has the streaming services. You know, and now luckily Netflix, I'm hoping Netflix is starting to do this. They're starting to license out some of their series. I think that's now how people are going to start to see it more. Because face it, people are watching more cable and satellite still than they are watching a Netflix or a whatever. They're watching either on normal cable or satellite, or they're watching on YouTube TV or Sling or PS View. You know, so Big Bang Theory is lucky in the fact that they were able to do all this before all this crap.
Yeah,
you know,
and we're successful.
Yeah,
like, you know, Big Bang Theory, like when you see the ratings, and it's like, and of course it'll be like sporting events and shit like that. Like those sporting events got like #1 ratings because, you know,
CBS has always had really good luck with series.
Yeah,
so
to have a sitcom, the fucking top 10.
Yeah,
it's just fucking, you know, it's
unheard of now because, you know, in a world where ratings are kind of doing this as we go on, and what I'm doing is it's going down.
Dropping, yeah.
You know, it's really interesting to see a series like this kind of actually, and I'm sure it probably could have gone a couple more seasons, but you know, I mean, a series like this has lasted.
Because, you know, there's reality shows. And these reality shows, they got, like, I mean, when I say reality, the competition shows, like the America's Got Talent and American Idol and shit like that, where, like, you kind of have to watch it that night.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to be talking about it tomorrow.
And part of the problem is, you know, this is something I've been talking about, like, on the Toonami Faithful podcast. I think I've talked about it a little bit on here, is there's way too many services out there now. So you're getting into all these, you don't have enough money. I don't know about you, but I don't have like all this money to drop on a DC service, a Netflix, a Hulu, an Amazon Prime. Don't add Amazon Prime; it sucks. And then on top of that, getting cable. You know what I'm saying? Like by the time you're done, you're spending like $200-300 a month for everything that you truly want. And it's like at this point, I don't want that. You know, I'm busy at work anyways. I'm not gonna watch every single thing, so. You know, it's just it's getting to a point where they got to kind of figure out what they're going to do with stuff lately because
we did address that last episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 other things before we go. I've been watching Castle Rock, and I've mentioned it before. I just watched episode 7 this morning, as before everybody. I got to say, like episodes 4, 5, and 6 really started fucking slacking so strong. And then 4, 5, and 6, such fucking filler episodes. But luckily, like, episode 7 kind of tied up a couple of loose ends. It's starting to get good again. So, I mean, if you haven't watched Castle Rock, and I think I haven't put too much thought into it, I think you kind of have to watch 4, 5, and 6 just to get all the loose ends that end up in episode 7. I believe it's only a 10-episode run. But so for right now, we're 4 for 3. You know, 4 good ones, 3 bad ones so far. I'm hoping that, you know, like if it's like, you know, 3 good, 3 bad, then I hope there'll be another. I hope the next 4 are good. But been watching that, and sort of in the same vein, you know, we're talking about Game of Thrones and HBO. The Watchmen series. What's that say? Oh shit! As we're recording this right now. Robin Leitch of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Past what, 76?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was Cribs before Cribs. And I'm 99% sure like that's like somewhere someone should link like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous when they did Donald Trump because you know like I remember watching the Donald Trump one when I was a kid. But yeah, back before Cribs was a thing. That was the show, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, where they would follow celebrity, and you know, and the celebrity show, you know, here's my giant fucking house, and you know, here's me getting on my own private jet, and then you know, being picked up at the airport by my limo, and you know, just ridiculous amounts of money, you know, and and don't get me wrong, it's fucking disgusting how well some people live, but of course, you know, it's entertaining, and you know, I can't deny Robin Leitch his props for like. You know what? People want to see this shit. You know what I'm saying? You're a horrible human being for showing us it, but we kind of want to see it. So I get, it has its place in history. So everyone does their Robin Leach lifestyles of the rich and famous, and his
Robin
things
Leach.
you can't afford, you poor piece of shit. The HBO has released a teaser, I guess if you want to say, for the Watchmen series, which is coming teen. It's in the Watchmen font. It's in the yellow and black, and it says "Friends." And so it's been speculated, and I don't want to say confirmed, but I think it's been speculated. But there's a lot of facts pointing that this is going to be the world after, and it's not necessarily so technically. They say the show is following the comic, not the movie. But the movie was so accurate. The movie was so close to the book that, you could kind of say it is kind of a continuation of. That being said, the movie didn't have a chance like the comics did to go to the original Watchmen and the original Minutemen and so on. So I'm wondering if maybe those characters or things related to those characters are going to show up. I know they showed on the scene. I've seen on the scene, behind the scenes, pictures of like Don Johnson, just like a cop, but like a cop in like a dress uniform, stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. Cops in a world where the superheroes are there because the cops were on strike or whatever, but then people didn't trust the superheroes. So it's having and especially that he's an old cop, meaning that he's been around since like when the Watchmen were, before the Watchmen, after the Watchmen. So that's going to be interesting. David Lindelof is handling the show. And he was pretty much after J.J. Abrams left Lost. It became his baby. So people hated Lost. So I'm kind of worried. David Lindelof, he kind of has a spotty track record. I think his heart is in the right place, but he's not good with payoffs. I mean, J.J. Abrams, and so I'm sort of I'm excited, but I'm also sort of like I'm also just really and then I've been reading the DC Doomsday Clock series where it's the Justice League meets the Watchmen. Issue 6 now, and the funny thing, I bought issue 6. I just haven't I want to sit down and read it. I want to light a candle, turn off the lights. I want to read it in a peaceful, calm environment. And I haven't had 5 minutes to sit down and read it. But so far it's good. And once again, that story also takes place at the Watchmen. And I don't think David Lindelof is going to tie in Doomsday Clock at all. But where in theory. Watchmen was in 1988 or something like that. It was supposed to be when it came out. This, or should I say, an alternate 1988. Doomsday Clock takes place in 92. Coinciding with the Batman, Death of Superman. So it's going to be interesting to see both. And they have all these before Watchmen books. I see them in the library, the big the compiled books. They don't have to go out and buy them.
Right.
So I've been thinking about reading them before Watchmen, but those are written by different people, and it wasn't written by Alan Moore. And I think Lindelof is kind of, I think he's going to try to stick to Alan Moore's material. Definitely Jeff Loeb, the guy who's doing Doomsday, he's definitely sticking to Alan's material. So the before Watchmen, it's kind of connected, but not really because it's fiction. It's extended universe shit. Anything else you want to talk about before we call it a day?
That's about it. I think I've made too many sob stories, so.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for listening, and let's go through our outro. It's time. Let's wrap this up.
Hopefully, that's what she said.
Please visit twostrangerspodcast.net where you can find all things show related. You can find links to our iTunes page, where you can, download our show on an iPhone, an iPad, and an iPod, even though who the fuck has an iPod anymore? The show's, it's a podcast. Who the fuck has an iPod anymore? I wonder if I could buy one now. Shit, if I could have an iPod without having to use iTunes, I would do it. But you can find us on iTunes, Two Strangers, One Podcast. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can download us on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Actually, I think Stitcher's for Apple also, but primarily for Android devices. You can put it on the listen later option and download and listen offline option So when you're in a Wi-Fi spot, you can download all your episodes, like I on here in Paul's house, and then listen to them later. So without killing your battery, without killing your data, go out. And that's pretty much, when I'm commuting to and taking care of stuff during the day, I listen to podcasts at home, and I listen to, when podcasts, I'm taking care of shit around the house, when I'm taking a bath, I listen to, actually, in my house, I actually take a bath. I don't have a shower. So I listen to podcasts when I do that. I used to say Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, that he hasn't had an episode on in a while. But you can listen to, Mark Maron and Adam Carolla and Kevin Smith's Smodcast. And of course, Paul's other baby, Tsunami Faithful podcast.
That's right.
Are all available on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER.
And probably, I'll be honest with you, I know the Tsunami Faithful podcast is like pretty much on every site except Spotify, which we're going to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Two Strangers, One Podcast probably is in the same. What happens is if a lot of people like your podcast, they'll order Android apps. Because you got to understand, there's like 50 different goddamn Android apps out there. So, for podcasts. So, we're probably on some other ones too. So just, if like, for example, Overcast, you've heard of Overcast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we're on that too. If you have a different podcast app and you want us on there, you just have to, I believe there's a way to request it, and then they can add it to your feed. So, if you like us and you want to listen to us and you want us on your podcast app, you have to do that. So, and please do that.
And our feed is on SoundCloud, which is for devices. You can find us on SoundCloud, search for Strangers One Podcast. That's where we actually host the files. If you want to download them, if you don't download them your app, you can download them directly from SoundCloud. I make sure that every episode is downloadable. You can go back and listen to about 2 years worth of podcasts on there. If you want to listen to even before that, the other 6+ years of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can go and listen to old episodes on YouTube. Just search for Two Strangers One Podcast. You can watch my Stranger vlogs, which I had 2 ready to go that I haven't released yet because I'm an asshole. All right, once again, SoundCloud is where you'll find us originally. I'm pretty sure that's where you get the RSS feed if you want, because that's all these other Android. All there are is RSS feed catchers. Shit, what else? If you want to write us, like Oscar has in the past, you can write us at twostrangersonepodcast@mail.com. Go easy on Paul. Just don't bash him. And I should have mentioned this a while. Oscar had said some pretty fucking nasty things a couple episodes back. And we kind of laughed, and it was my fault. I should have offended her. And so I kind of just want to publicly apologize to Jen. One, for just like reading it. I kind of, I'm such a fucking pathetic person that I like any attention, even if it's negative. So like, you can call me a fat fucking piece of shit, and at least like at least you're thinking about me, And he had said some nasty fucking things about Jen. So I just wanted to apologize to Jen for like reading that on here, and also telling Oscar, like, I'm saying it here in public, don't fucking come after again. Leave her out of it. If you want to talk about, she is part of the history of the show and everything like that. But if you say anything else insulting, I'm definitely not going to read it on the air. And it's not like a censorship or anything like that. It's just,
just try to be more considerate.
I should have been a better friend and defended her back then. I'm once again, I came at it from my own weird point of view, where like any negative fucking feedback is still feedback. And so, not to censor you, but if you're gonna go after her, it's not gonna be read on the air.
Yeah.
And let me see. And I don't want to get all serious. I mean, I like Oscar and I like his feedback, and once again, I crave fucking any kind of attention. But I unfortunately, it splashed and hit my friends, and it shouldn't have. Well, that's it. I can't think of anything. Oh, I acquiesced for you.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you. So you can find me on Twitter at Paul Piscrillo. You can email me. It's paulpiscrillo@tsunamifaithful.com. I don't use Ask anymore because it was getting really annoying and fucking up with my phone, so I decided to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. It was just asking me random questions, and I'm just like, these aren't people asking me questions, so fuck it. And then I'm also on our Tsunami Faithful Discord. There's various, and I'm sure we'll put another one up to invite more people to our Discord, but on the Tsunami Faithful Discord, you can just do @Paul Piscrillo, and I will respond. So... that's about it. Maybe Chris will start one when gets the internet and starts playing video games again and
that's
whatever.
that's gonna be weird when I start. I have it in my house again.
So, yeah, I know we can do this over the thing. So much easier.
All right, so we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening as fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
Or at least that's what he says.
Oh yeah. Can you dig it, sucker? All
right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah,
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show. I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could saw them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne. Right
No,
now
sex
for that.
sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.